It's good to see such a large group, and I recognize names too, which is always really fun. We have together a presentation on Rural Student Services, which is a program that was started here at the University of Alaska Fairbanks back in 1969. And I've been with Rural Student Services for about almost 20 years. And I've done different roles, but mostly I've been doing advising with students, comprehensive advising. And I came here a long time ago and found a really good group of friends and kind of a family, a home away from home. And so it's kind of been a good niche for me and for just all the relationships with students and coworkers and everything through the years. And so I'm always really happy to be able to talk about the program and just let others know around the state and with other organizations. Oops, I forgot to hit the recording. In any case, so my name is Gabrielle Russell, and like I said, I've been here with the university for quite some time. I've been with Rural Student Services for about 20 years. And I go by Gabby. Pretty much everyone has been calling me Gabby since I was a little kid. And I don't know if I live up to the nickname or not, but definitely can chat and go fast. In any case, I want to go ahead and I'll share my screen. And I'm going to go ahead and share a little bit about the Rural Student Services program here at UAF. And I think it's really important to emphasize too, just for everybody who's on the Zoom here this morning, we aren't successful in helping students through the process of coming to the university, getting prepared, working through all the transitions and challenges that students do have without partners. And so it's kind of like we all are helping along that journey with our students as they kind of learn from each other and hopefully support each other through their college career or whatever they're doing, whether that's a certificate program, an associate's degree program, or a bachelor's and higher. So it's all about partnering for student success, which is part of the title here. Our program was started, like I said, back in 1969. So we've been in existence for over 50 years. And we were set up by students, rural and Alaska Native students who came here to the Fairbanks campus and felt like there wasn't enough support for them academically, socially, culturally. And so they actually started our program. And you see like those pictures there back in like 70s. You could see like definitely the attire, the glasses from the 70s. But part of the program has always been to serve the students because we were created by students. And so we loop back every year and do kind of a student satisfaction feedback survey with our students to see what kinds of services maybe need to be changed. And then exciting news, I guess it was about 3 years ago, we started our vice chancellor, Dr. Charlene Stern, was instrumental in having funding starting for the Chathiata Indigenous Studies Center, which is going to be a new building here on campus. They're hoping to break ground next summer, 2024, which is going to encompass our program as well as many of the actual academic programs that the university here offers in Fairbanks and through UAF and on the Chathiata campus. And so those include a lot of the Alaska Native languages, our Alaska Native Studies bachelor's degree, as well as master's degree in rural development and tribal governance. And there's all those programs overall are going to be housed in the Indigenous Student Study Center. So we're excited for that. In any case, this is just a little bit of our history here. And we do have a video that some of you might have seen it if you've been at a presentation in the last few years, but it does a really good job of saying all that we do with students and together through that journey. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the okay.
Once everything's perfectly organized, I'll start working on my thesis.
Grammarly will ensure you feel confident nailing your
It was finally a recognition of our native cultures by the university as something of value. And when you do that for students, you do that for everybody, non-natives and natives alike. And they start accepting their native culture as something of value.
It's incredibly important for Rural Student Services to continue to be there, to be a place for students to find support both through the advisors, but then also brotherhood and sisterhood through the community of Alaska rural students that are here within the university.
The department was created. It was created as SOS to begin with, Student Orientation Services, and then over the years it evolved to Rural Student Services.
We're here to help students transition from small rural communities and small rural schools to a little bit more urban setting. And we often say we provide academic, cultural, and social support for our students.
What we often hear from elders is being ourselves, being who we are in the world is really powerful, and it actually will take you far. And so I think that would be, you know, part of Rural Student Services is helping us to be who we are in the world and in this place, which can be really different.
It was like going into a forest that you had never been into before. They were kind and they were outgoing in a very gentle way.
I felt like I was able to provide space, a safe space for Native students and rural students. They could speak their native language, they could practice collective values, just kind of take down all their armor that they carried around all day. We were just like doing our math homework and Kyla was sitting there drawing and then my friend was beading. They were just dancing in the back and it was just like, it was a really cool moment for me.
We celebrate together, we eat together, we honor other people. We have award ceremonies for professors that help our students, and I think that our students see and feel that connection.
They understand us, they understand our way of lives, they understand our needs, and I really like that about them.
We take everybody out and go have a picnic out on the ski trails or go cross-country skiing, get people off campus with other students and with the advisor, tie in those connections, those positive connections.
I was so close to leaving, and Sue pulled me aside and said, you know, you can do it. It was my last year and things were just tough. And then that was the year and my husband. Is knowing all that they do and all that they want to do for their students. There's just not enough hours in the day.
Rural Student Services is a place that gives them space to be who they are, to be where they came from, and to plan a path forward so that they can give back to their community.
Global leadership in Alaska Native and Indigenous Studies is not just important for our Alaska Native and Indigenous students, it's important for everyone. Learning from, teaching different cultures and different ways of knowing.
Our intention is to grow as a global center of excellence in Indigenous studies and in supporting Indigenous students, and that's something that we're incredibly excited.
People here at RSS reassured me that I wasn't alone and that they'd go above and beyond to help me. I hope that they continue and continue and continue to keep going, because I don't know where I would be without RSS.
Good. So.
I just realized I probably should check the chat. And then I was like, oh shoot, I didn't turn it on during the middle of the video. Is everybody hearing everything okay? I should have checked in earlier just to make sure.
Yes, we could hear the individuals in the video.
Okay. It's just kind of neat to see like we're just thinking of like, we need a new video because a lot of the people that were featured have, moved on or they've graduated if they're students or, we're just thinking like, it's kind of nice reminder for those of us who've been around because we see people that are like, oh, look, it's so-and-so. And it's just, it is kind of that family atmosphere. And, being reminded of people that we've worked with and have been a part of our lives for so much of our time here at the Chacueta campus here in Fairbanks. So let's see. So as you saw, kind of just the video does a really good job of summarizing all that Rural Student Services is and the students that we serve. We serve Alaska Native and rural students from across the state. And we have lots of food events. This is one of those pictures from one of our food events. And then just kind of split up by regions. These are our numbers from last year. We don't totally have our numbers updated for this fall for 2023, but we usually have around 500 students in our program. And that varies here and there, but in general, that's about the number of students who are part of our program. And students, in a way, self-select being advised by an advisor at Rural Student Services, and that's usually how students get introduced to the program. So new students who are applying or returning to come back to school have an application that gets put in, and then we get a list of new admits, like basically newly admitted students to degree programs. And then we reach out to students and say, hey, RSS is here for registration for classes and your support. And then we kind of set up appointments, and that's kind of where it starts. And then a lot of times, just over the years, we have such a history within the UAF system that, and across the state, that a lot of our former students say, oh, if you're going to UAF, get a hold of RSS and make sure you get linked up with an advisor, and just in terms of the program itself. This is kind of a model of how our program has been set up and evolves over the years. And so we have, I wouldn't say, I don't know necessarily. I think if you talked about alum, like UAF alum, how strong people feel about it, I think they even feel stronger by those students who were involved with Rural Student Services when they were here. And so a lot of times, like I said, word of mouth, our former students will be like, hey, you're going to UAF, get a hold of Rural Student Services. And so a lot of our pre-advising is almost from former students. And then when they do get through the programs and graduate, and whether they're back in their communities or at different leadership opportunities, and later on, they're always like kind of spreading that word of mouth. So it's kind of definitely a cycle. And it's this year at our blast off, we have a big blast off annual dinner to kick off the fall semester. And I mentioned, I was like, well, you're part of the RSS family now, whether you like it or not. So I think that does play a role in how many students over the years have been a part of RSS. And these are just a list kind of all the different services that we provide in our program. So it's not only registration for classes and placement testing and financial aid and helping with the FAFSA and all those scholarship applications, but it's also advocating for students once they're here and kind of through their journey. And there's also a lot of encouragement to get involved in our different student organizations, in internships. And so a lot of programs and some of the programs you guys are representing have either visited or presented at RSS for summer internships, for employment, future employment, for scholarships. And so it's really important that we are that whole comprehensive advising, that kind of wraparound services, and do a little bit of everything so that students kind of have a ground base where they can, ask questions and get that support. And those are a list there of all the different programs. We do have a first year experience class, which is, this year we have quite a few students. Actually, we have about 25 students in that class. And so it's been really, I think, helpful in that transition for our first year students. Like I said, comprehensive advising, these are actually, I think, like Minnie Naylor. She presented before with me here, but she's now the Chukchi campus director up in Kotzebue. And these are some of the other positions that we were able to create recently. We have, as part of the Alaskan Native Student Success Initiative, we were able to create a few new positions in our program. And one of those was our Indigenous Wellness Coordinator. So it's kind of almost like an embedded counselor in the RSS program. And then we also have a degree completion advisor position, which is actually currently open right now. We're hiring for that, which is to encourage students to come back to school who maybe have only about 10% of their classes left to get their degree, whether that's associate's or bachelor's level. And then we also have the RSS Rawhai academic coach to kind of help transition and be that bridge between the Rawhai program, which they're going to speak right after me, and that's the Rural Alaska Honors Institute, and RSS. So kind of being that link for students and being that academic coach position. And then the academic support, we do have here 2 computer labs for students to use, printing. We rent out, or we check out Chromebooks for the semester. We have tutoring for students. We have a study hall, which is kind of like mimicking a little bit of high school, but just having that extra time set aside to do homework. A lot of students kind of need a little bit of that structure, especially their first few years. And so when you have all this time, you go from like being in a kind of structured system, and then you have all this time and you just have to make it to classes, and sometimes you don't have the best time management. So having that study hall has been really helpful for some of our students, just having that time set aside to actually study. Here's 2 of our students who actually both are graduated, Caitlin Tom and Charlie. Let's see. Oops. And then so the academic support, the cultural support, and the social support. And the cultural support is a lot of just understanding where people are coming from, understanding different ways of life, and knowing that students come with their, they're not just students at the university. They have families. Some people are working, some have just so many different roles that they play, and it's not just being a student. And so understanding that and recognizing all the relationships the student does have. And that's one of our big events. We do these positive connection nights on Friday nights, and we have some kind of home cooked meal and a programming event. And this year we got a little bit maybe ahead of ourselves, but we're having them every Friday night. So every week we've been kind of working up for an event, but it's really nice to have students be able to start off their weekend with a positive interactions with other students. We had a karaoke night. It was a big success. And we actually, this coming Friday, we have a swap shop. So it's kind of like people have brought in slightly used things for students in the dorms and just in general, students who have families and little kids. So we're gonna have a swap shop. And we just came off of having Indigenous Peoples Day yesterday, so we had a big fundraiser for our Festival of Native Arts Student Club organization and the event that's going to happen this coming spring. And that's one of our springtime positive connection nights was sledding during COVID, trying to get out in the fresh air. And then we just have some pictures of students here and former students who graduated at some of those events. The big part that we definitely encourage students to do is to get involved, be part of this community that you're in. And so that's through a lot of our student organizations, and some are academic focused, like ACES, the American Indian Science and Engineering Society there. We also are part of ANSEP. There's the Alaska Native Social Workers Association. So some of those ANISAs are related to academics, and then there's also some that are more culturally based, such as the Inupiaq dance group, the Chateda dance group, Festival of Native Arts. Like I just said, we had a huge fry bread taco fundraiser yesterday. We took in quite a bit of funds for this coming Festival of Native Arts this spring. Native Games, they went and competed against UAA and UAS down in Juneau last year, and it just definitely having those different connections for students to get a little bit of wellness all around, not just with the academics, but connecting with other students too, which is really hard after COVID. It's been really nice to see this fall. We've had a lot of students coming by and just participating. And there's a picture of Festival of Native Arts, one of the dance groups there from a few years ago. And like a lot of you who are participating here on the Zoom, these are all the different partnerships that we try to maintain and invite here. And then next week, we're actually going to be at First Alaskans Elders and Youth Conference presenting a workshop. And so all those kinds of ways that we can be involved and let organizations know about students and offer those opportunities for students, we try to encourage for sure. And then hopefully the end result is graduation and seeing students through to their own success. And I think, let's see, time-wise, I have a few minutes. Just after I finish up here, Brianna Pauling is going to speak about the Rawhide program, and so I'll let her give more information about Rawhide. But it's really such an opportunity for students, especially those students who are thinking about going on to college, to get that kind of prep. And there's a big picture during summertime, obviously. Does anybody have any questions?
I don't see any questions in the chat box, but we've had some positive comments.
Oh, nice. I was just looking over. I did notice people were coming in there late, so hopefully I clicked on everyone for the getting admitted there. I'm just kind of looking through names of people in attendance here. Yeah, if no one has any questions, I'll go ahead and pass it on. And I really appreciate you guys checking in. If you ever have or are working with students, definitely feel free to get a hold of us. And if we're ever at any events, say hello. Make sure to point out that you're there. I saw some people here. We'll also be at the Alaska School Counselors Conference in November. If there's any schools here represented, I saw a few there. Thank you guys. Have a good week.
Mhm. Thank you, Gabby, so much for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you.